You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and man, today we have another amazing show for y'all today. We want to talk to our special guest. She is the one that is behind Envision Results Consulting. You can go to that website. It's real simple, envisionresults.net. The one and only Marnye Moore. She is going to help us get unstuck today and kind of have the courage to find our better self, but not just find our better self, kind of find those starting points for us to kind of build and take action for us to lead into the next chapter of our lives. So first and foremost, Marnye, thank you for taking time out of your schedule talking to us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's great to have you on. You have a lot of things that you can help us with. And first and foremost, kind of tell us about your corporate job that you used to do before you took this leap of faith to practice your own business.
So once upon a time, all good fairy tales start in with once upon a time and they end happily ever after. So I'm working on the happily ever after, but the once upon a time I had the corporate job and it was really a good job. I was pretty autonomous. I was making good money and I was working in a really cool industry and all of that. And I was sitting at my desk sobbing because I was bored out of my mind and I didn't know how to change. I didn't know how to take up a new direction. I wasn't getting any promotions. I wasn't meeting new people. I wasn't seeing new opportunities. And I had an entire life built around that paycheck. I had the mortgage and the car and the 401k and the lifestyle that went with a very good job. And then all of a sudden, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I just didn't know what to do. And I was so bored. So one day on a whim, I hired a coach and she said that she could help me get unstuck. And, I just wanted a new friend. But what it came out of it was that I actually learned some things about me. And that's what brought me to coaching altogether, is that we all need to learn stuff about ourselves so that we can find the courage to move forward, so that we don't just sit there and dance around waiting for fate and destiny to knock on the door. We go get them and bring them to the house and sit their butts down and tell them what it is that we want. We find that courage and we find it by making little actions, and working with somebody else is the thing that holds you accountable and pushes you forward, because we'll do anything for anyone else. But more often than not, we will cancel on ourselves at the drop of a hat. And so that's why I started doing what I'm doing, Envision Results. And, it's had its ups and downs. But at the end of the day, when you have someone you're accountable to, you're going to do it more so. You work out, you have an accountability partner. And when you go to the gym, you're not joined at the hip, but you are going together. And that person counts on you to get them there. And then, sometimes you can't see what's right in front of you because you're just too close to it. And you need somebody outside you to give you a different perspective, right? Every executive, every athlete, every person who is driving to be better and stronger has a coach or a mentor, somebody helping them to see things differently, to think differently, to take chances, to stretch themselves in new ways. And all of that just became so evident to me. And I knew enough people in my world that were struggling to grow that it just seemed like there was a fit for me to step in and help them to grow too.
Once again, listen, I'm Refocused Radio talking to Marnye Moore, and you have a Facebook page too that people can check out, Envision Results Consulting on Facebook. But that just right to the point. That's what you're doing. You're helping people to realize there's more to the daily routine of the daily grind, the daily hustle, the daily, I just got to do this, the daily, I got to do that, the whole list, the whole calendar being full all the time. It gets dull really fast if you get too comfortable and you start to doubt yourself, not because you're not good, but because you might just outgrown the space you're in and it's time for a new change. I've heard people say things like part of that growth, if you will, is like a sign that there's more. You don't have to stay here. You don't have to think that this is all there is for your life. Maybe there's more for you, but you're just outgrowing the space you're currently in. And sometimes that's what challenges and friction does. It kind of gives us a hint. There's more to life. Maybe it's time for you to explore a little bit. Was that for you, or how did you realize, okay, it's time for me to explore more for what I want to do in my life?
Aside from just sitting there sobbing at my desk, yeah, there had to be something more. And we all get to, if you're not growing, you're retreating, right? If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. And so I always tell people that, if you get to a point where you're feeling restless and you're not satisfied with your job, it's just getting in the way of everything, you've got other ideas and there are people around you that are squishing them, you are on the verge of growth and you need to do something with that, or it is going to backfire in a big way. If you are dissatisfied at work, I promise that is coming home with you in your attitude and your behavior at home. If you're not happy with your physical self, I promise you it is affecting other areas of your life. If there's finances that you want to work on or something new, and yet you put it off because, oh, well, you shouldn't do it. And your second cousin twice removed told you that you wouldn't be good at it. You're going to implode. So when you start feeling restless, I was restless. When you start feeling like you're wasting your time, then you have got to start growing and start doing something different. And the first way that you do that is just to ask somebody for help or to go to Google. Google is everybody's very best friend. Google anything and see what kind of answers come to you. And when you're ready to really start diving into it, then that's when you start looking for other help. You can learn anything on your own, but you're going to waste a lot of time. Why not go to the people that have already done it? Why not go to the people that have said, okay, I have been there, done that. Let me help you get there faster. Stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before you and be strong and do what they did, but do it better. So when you get on their shoulders and you're looking around, you're going to be able to say, you know what? I see a new way for me to do something. And there's going to be, here's the big one. We're all going to fail. We're all going to stumble. But true successes in life do not see failure as a problem. It's only feedback, something that they need to do different. They need more information, or they need to study someone else and get more information, but they keep taking action. The destination is pretty much fixed, that they are going to be a success, that they're going to do something new. And everything that they've done to date is just learning to do something new. And the hard part is one, accepting that you might fail. Two, you might run out of money, but that all the time and energy that you have put into creating the life that you have and making a change does not mean it was wasted. It was learning. It was feedback. It was prepping you for something else. I mean, how many of us have that thing called transferable skills, where you're managing one team or one project and you can take it to a completely different industry? It's no different than that for yourself. You have transferable skills that are going to move you somewhere else. And if you're restless and you're frustrated and you're bored, you've got to do something. You've got to take the next step and move forward. And the way you do it is you just start talking to people, making connections, asking for help. That's how you collapse time and learn faster.
And when you start that process, part of getting on the map and hitting the targets, if you will, you have to make a decision. So when a person is making a decision to take that next step, take that action, the next thing is knowing who they are. So when it comes to being self-aware of what you're trying to do in life, explain to the audience why it's important for them to first know what they want so that people can actually help them.
Knowing what you want is often more difficult than knowing what you don't want. And what you don't want is currently what you have. And maybe it's good, and maybe it's good enough, but you know that there is more. So this is where we start with that self-reflection, that internal deep dive, actually getting honest with ourselves as to what it is that we want or don't want. And I talk to a lot of people about doing mirror work. I call it mirror work, where you go in the bathroom, you shut the door, and you have a heart-to-heart with yourself, with the person in the mirror, because that's the person you've got to talk to. And that's the person that you've got to be really open and honest with. And you've got to allow yourself to be really open and honest about what it is that you're feeling, what it is that you want to do. You spent all those years going to college to be a CPA, and come to find out you'd rather be a dog walker. You're going to have those heart-to-hearts with yourself. You're going to have to do some self-exploring. And some people like to meditate and allow feelings to come to the surface and then deal with them. You can complain about the temperature of the room all that you want, but until you go to the thermostat, yourself, your heart, and your mind, and start looking at what's coming up, you're never going to change the temperature in the room. You've got to start with yourself, and you have to become aware. So, like, one of my favorite things in the whole world, I say that very sarcastically, is that when I'm trying to work up the courage to something, I will start having an imaginary argument or a conversation in my head with another person so that I can work up the strength and the courage and the words to say what it is that I want to say. Well, why not back up and just tell myself that I want to do this thing? I don't need to have an argument. I don't need anybody else's permission. And I'm just going to say what it is that I want. And that's where a lot of us start. We're so worried about being careful around other people. We're so worried about offending other people. We're so worried about other people's judgment that we forget that the first person that we've got to make happy is ourselves. And then when we are full and when we are doing for ourselves, we have so much more to give other people. You know, we talk about making money. Money gives you options. It gives you the option to do things for yourself. It also gives you the option to do things for other people. When you start doing your self-exploration and you start becoming self-aware and admitting to yourself how you feel and what it is that you want, then you can relax into that. You can start going with that. You can start analyzing those emotions and those events and start working them to your advantage. It gives you options. And when you're being fulfilled and when you're doing what it is that makes you happy or fulfilled, then you have options for other people. You have the emotional ability to talk to other people, meet them on their level. You have the emotional ability to be true to yourself and to stand up for yourself. We all have that one friend who is so confident that we wouldn't dare tread on their turf. But why not do that for yourself? We teach people how to treat ourselves by the way we treat ourselves. And if you're going to cop out on yourself, other people are going to cop out on you too. And that's just not right. We need to stop and actually be honest with ourselves about how it is that we feel and what we want so that we can start developing that. And when you start developing that, then you get stronger. And you can start seeking outside help and feel confident in that. You can start asking for resources and feel confident in that. You can start putting things together in new ways so that you can build yourself up or build a new life, whatever that is that you need or that you want. The stronger you are, the more you have to give. And that's what I want people to do. You have to begin inside. Start there.
I'd like to add to a person that the longer they wait to start the whole process, then the longer they will experience the lack of confidence, because confidence is also a part of showing up and just doing what you said you wanted to do. I mean, I always use the metaphor like an athlete. Imagine one of the greatest athletes in the world, football right now is very popular in the season. If that individual doesn't show up to practice, if they don't show up for their teammates, if they don't show up for their coaches, they really are just not showing up for themselves. Because when they themselves make up their mind, okay, I'm going to hit the gym, I'm going to do the workouts, I'm going to be there for my teammates, I'm going to be there for my coaches. When it comes to game time, it's the same scenario. I have to be there for every play. I have to be, pay attention to, what's needed of me. So I'm at the place where I'm supposed to be and where they need me to be, my teammates, because that gives us a better position to win the game. And I think that's the same thing in life. For you to win the day, you got to put yourself first in the position to win the day. I think if you just remain passive, you have too many days of losing because you're just being hesitant. You're not making the moves that can put you in position to just be a better version of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. If you're not showing up, you're just never going to get there. And you have to begin, and I think it was Vince Lombardi that says most people stop at the start because they don't want to start. They just don't know all the answers, and they don't have enough faith in themselves to move forward, and at some point, I mean, we can go into a religious discussion, spirit, universe, whatever it is. Everything starts off with this faith that you can accomplish something without knowing how to do it. And then you have to have the belief in yourself that you're going to do it. You're going to find the resources to do it. And you're going to just have to have faith and belief that those resources will come to you. And then you have to be willing to allow it to happen. And it probably 98% of the time is not going to happen in the way that you expect it to, or that you plan it to. You have to lean into that, and you have to start with yourself. If you aren't showing up for you, nobody else is going to show up for you. That's where you begin. You keep going and you keep going, and you just, bit by bit. And the stronger you get, the easier it gets. And small successes build bigger successes. And action breeds confidence. But I want you to start right at the beginning and look for the courage to be honest with yourself, to dig deep and admit what you do like and what you don't like, and what you're feeling, and when you're scared and when you're not scared. We're all confident in some areas of our life, but we're not confident in every area. Nobody is. And that's what holds us back. But if you've seen somebody do what it is that you want to do, then you have proof positive you can do it yourself. You're just going to have to start taking some risks. And don't wait until you are at your wit's end and your last dime. Those people that do have nowhere else to go but to risk it all. You don't have to wait to risk it all. You can just start risking a little bit and start building those confidences. And the more you risk, the bigger the rewards. But you have to begin. You have to build that team around you to support you, because nobody's in this life alone. And you don't know what you don't know. So you need people to help you in the areas that you are weak. It used to be that you wanted to figure out your weaknesses and improve those so that you were strong everywhere. I'm here to tell you, if you've got weaknesses, hire it, manage it, get somebody else to help you, because you're never going to get good in that area. You don't want to, you don't like them. Otherwise you wouldn't be weak in them. Move on, get some help. And then move forward and do the thing that you are really, really good at. Do the thing that makes you happy. Do the thing that you find fulfilling, that allows your brain to move and to be creative. Sometimes people like to meditate. I'm not a good meditator, but what I can do is I can drink a cup of coffee and just stare off into space. That's meditating. It's just allowing my brain to wander. But I'm not sitting cross-legged on the floor with harp music in the background. I'm just allowing my brain to relax. That's how I do that. Other people don't. I have a girlfriend that can sit and meditate for 30, 40 minutes at a time, and I get stuck at 3 or 4 minutes. So I have to manage that. But I can get up in front of people and speak, and she would sooner die and hide under the table than talk to a group of people. We don't have the same skill set, but I'm building the ones that mean something to me, that make me feel good, that I can really promote and do something with. And she's doing another thing. And we all are that way. We need to acknowledge who it is that we are, what we feel, and what we truly want. And then allow that to start blossoming and moving forward. And if you allow it, it can really happen quickly. If you're going to fight with it and just micromanage it, you're going to have a hard time. You need to not do that. You need to just go back to that faith and that belief. Check the thermostat, your heart and your mind. What do you truly want? How do you truly feel? And how do you want to move that forward? Who are you going to allow in? Are you going to still let your second cousin twice removed tell you what's right or wrong? Or are you going to actually rely on the one person that it really matters to? You. We need to find that inner strength, those extraordinary beginnings, those courage and conviction, being strong enough to admit to yourself what you want and to have the conviction to move forward regardless of everyone else. And the truth of it is all those judgments that you perceive that other people are going to put on you, those are the judgments that you're putting on yourself. And so can you just not judge yourself for a while? Can you just give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you have the faith in yourself and the belief in yourself to move forward and to receive exactly what it is that you want? Maybe not in the way that you expected, but you will receive it. I have a girlfriend who went to school for journalism. She knew she was going to bring stories to life. Time went on, life happened. She had children, she got married, she got divorced, she took the job that would pay the bills, and time went on. And that dream of bringing stories to life has today morphed into being a movie producer. She's not writing newspaper articles. She's not writing for a magazine. She's producing movies. How wonderful is that? The dream is still there. It just became something else. And so now she's still moving forward and she's the person that she wants to be. Her life is amazing. And those are the things I want people to do. Find that courage to be honest with themselves. Find the conviction to move forward and have faith in yourself and the belief in yourself that you will have it. You just have to keep moving forward.
You listen to Refocus Radio, talking to our guest, Marnye Moore, and you can go to our website, envisionresults.net. And it's funny, on your About Me page, you have like a picture of a flower. And at the end, last sentence, you're saying, no reason to wait, start dreaming again. And it's funny because, in order for a flower to bloom, obviously you have to plant the seed. But between the seed being planted and the flower blooming is time. And I think a lot of us forget that it does take time for something great to happen. But you have to start that greatness by taking that first step, because you never know if it'll actually happen unless you actually try. And not with your mind, but with your body. You have to physically show up, like we've been saying, and just have that faith that if I take the first step, it will allow me to take the next. And as long as we can practice that day in, day out, before you know it, like the famous, saying, 1,000 steps, it starts with that first one.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Very, very true. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take. You have to begin. And then as you begin, the journey becomes the whole point of it. That's the fun of it, is developing that goal along the way, all of those steps. I don't know too many people who don't enjoy learning, and some things are easier than others for sure. And I'm one of those weird people who liked calculus, but moving forward, you have to begin. You're never going to get there if you don't start. And if you're waiting for something to start you, you're going to be waiting a very, very long time. Take the first step. Look for a book, look for a group, look for a coach, somebody who wants to move you forward, who's going to hold you accountable. It's that accountability. Like I said, we will do anything for anyone else, but we will give up on ourselves in the blink of an eye. You get a better offer, you're going to go do something else. Don't do that. You are your first priority. And when you take care of you, then you can take care of other people. It doesn't work the other way around. You're just spinning your wheels. It's not going to happen. You need to begin. Start. That journey of 1,000 steps begins with one. Take a step. Move forward. Start asking for help. It's totally okay to ask for help. You don't know what you don't know. Somebody else does. Do that. That's where you're going to start.
You have an event on February 6th on Facebook. It's going to be a live event on Facebook. So can you tell us a little bit for our audience what it's called and what it's going to be all about?
Certainly. So on February 6th, 6th to the 10th for the week, it'll be 30 minutes every day. 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's noon Pacific. And there's, so it kind of fits into people's day, and it doesn't take up a ton of time, but it's extraordinary beginnings. It's that confidence and conviction. And I will be talking about this stuff, about doing that deep dive, how to go inward, how to write a movie script where you are the star of the show, because you should be the star of your own show. And we're going to be talking about finding the courage to feel what you need to feel, talking to yourself in a way that you need to be talked to so that you can move forward, and learning what to do next, how to start developing that courage and conviction, knowing that there's someone behind you. And that's what we're going to do. I just want you to get in the habit of believing in yourself to go forward. And people don't like to talk about being afraid. So this is that one little space where you can just listen for 30 minutes and have somebody tell you it's okay to not know what you don't know. Nobody's going to laugh at you. And we're going to just start moving forward. We're going to start taking those steps. We're going to find the courage to be honest. We're going to start finding the conviction to move forward. We're not going to worry about the second cousin anymore. And we're going to start taking those steps forward to get the success that we want. January 23rd or January 21st is like the day that 70% of the people give up their New Year's resolutions. So let's pick them up again and get them going again. And the more often that you start, it gets easier and easier to keep going, to break through those barriers that are holding you back, those things that we call life, those things that we don't want. What about the kids, the cat and the dog? Well, don't worry, they're still going to be there. We're just going to keep moving forward. And we're just going to blaze the trail for ourselves. We're going to lead by example. And that's what we're going to be doing. February 6th to the 10th, just 30 minutes, talking about courage, talking about conviction, developing confidence. Confidence comes with action. So this is the first action. Message me on Facebook. That's how you get the link. And then I'll send you the Zoom links and we can go from there. That's how you do it. Because not a lot of people, will take that first step. This is your first step. It's very easy. Just start there. It's a real simple thing. And then we start just knocking it down. You just got to begin.
We've been talking to Marnye Moore here on Refocus Radio, and you go to her Facebook page, facebook.com, Envision Results Consulting. You can go to her website, envisionresults.net. Man, you said something there where I can probably talk for another 30 minutes. I can't do that. But there's one thing I do want to say, based on what you talked about. Sometimes people can put their dreams on the shelf. Yeah. And when it collects dust, they think it's too late. But I think as long as you got air in your lungs, it's never too late to pick up your dream again and dust it off and keep going where you left off. So, yeah, from there, I want to say thanks to Marnye Moore being on Refocus Radio. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it.